to have endangered species and protect them for industrial purposes? Yes, correct. Now let us go to the next question. Design an experiment to study the distribution of stomata on the lower and upper epidermis of the leaf. I know you guys are very good at designing experiments, so I expect an answer for this. Okay, yeah. So, like, you did understand the problem statement, right? Studying the leaf under a microscope. Okay, so wait, how will studying the leaf under the microscope help you understand like how many stomata are there on the lower and upper epidermis? Suppose if you take a cross section and you observe it under microscope, just like you said. So basically, you will observe that okay, there are stomata present on the upper surface, there are stomata present on the lower surface. But which one has more? Like, is it equally distributed on both the surfaces? Is it that one is, what do we say? One surface has greater stomata, number of stomata. So that is what I want you to figure out. Okay, we can observe the average number. But then how will you get that average number? Like, you can do, okay, a cross section is very small, right? So would it be like, wouldn't you overestimate or underestimate that number while counting? It will have a high chance of error, right? Yes. Okay. Well, it is not actually that complicated. The last time you said, right, we can just use calcium chloride to cover the stomata. It is something on similar lines. Yes, that is correct, Rakhi Shailaja. Cover the upper or lower surface. Sorry, COCL. Okay, I'm sorry. So yes, cover the upper and lower surface and compare to uncovered leaf. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, so basically what we will do is we will take the control leaf as in a leaf which does not have any of the surfaces covered. Covered in the sense like you can maybe apply something because of which the stomata gets closed. So there will be one leaf which has none of the surfaces covered. One leaf which has the upper surface covered, one leaf which has the lower surface covered. Now, what happens is when you cover these, or like when you apply something, suppose you apply like Ikaki said, if you apply COCl2, the stomata will get closed. And once the stomata gets closed, there there won't be any transfer of gases between the leaf and the surroundings. Hence, the leaf will not wilt. Are you getting that? So, suppose if there are more number of stomata on the lower surface, so what you will observe is compared to the normal leaf, it will wilt less. Okay. Similarly, if there are suppose, what do we say, equal amounts of stomata on both the surfaces of the leaf, then you have to, they will wilt less compared to the normal leaf. So that is how you can get that thing. Did you guys get it? Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, now let us go to the next question. Dogs wag their tail when they see someone familiar. Analyze this behavior with respect to the four questions. I hope you guys remember the four questions. Okay, before that, first we will discuss what are the four questions. Yeah, causation. What else? Ontogeny. Ontogeny, yes. Arishi, do you wish to answer? Association. Oh, Okay, no, but like function, evolution. Yes. Causation, ontogeny, function, and evolution. Association may be a part of this thing. Ontogeny. Koi kaki. Okay, so now that you remember the four questions, which of these are proximate causes, which of these are ultimate causes, and why is it so? Like, okay, first of all, which of these are proximate causes? Causation, ontogeny, yes. These are proximate causes, yes. And which are the ultimate causes? The rest two. Of course, the rest two are ultimate causes. Okay, so why are these the proximate and why are those the ultimate causes? I did mention this last time as well. Okay, so causation and ontogeny are called proximate causes because they answer the how aspect of behavior, and the function and evolution are called ultimate causes because they answer the why aspect of the behavior. Okay. So now that we have revised these four questions, dogs wagging their tail. We all know that dogs wag their tail when they see someone familiar. So yeah, I want you guys to analyze this question, this behavior with respect to the four questions. Okay, let us go step by step. First of all, what is the causation in this? What acts as the stimulus over here? Person? Yes, correct. So sight of the person is the causation. Now recognition. Okay, yes, that is correct. Iko ikaki. Next is ontogeny. So what is the ontogeny? What do you think? How did the dog learn to behave that way? Trained behavior, yes, it might be because like the dog of course needs this conditioning to understand that I know this person or something. So yes, it can be a trained behavior. It can also be somewhat genetic instinct that it is somewhat genetic. It signals joy or excitement. Yes, correct. That is also correct. Breeding. Okay. That is also correct. That you breed the dog in a certain way so that it recognizes you. It also has a somewhat genetic instinct because, waving the tail is a behavior which has a genetic instinct. The reason is because this thing. Okay. So function. How does it help the survival of the dog or whatever? Yeah. Dogs can know who is safe or not. Yes, correct. So that in that way it can help their survival, right? So yes, you're correct. And this can also help people close to them as well. Yes. Okay. That is correct. Pheromones. Okay, pheromones in dogs. I don't think so. It is just a simple behavior, right? That the dog is trained to know, or maybe the dog recognizes that person, hence it behaves that way. So, I don't think it has any influence of pheromones. Okay. So, and one last question about this. Now, frame a hypothesis of how this behavior would have evolved. Can make any hypothesis, come on. I just want you to frame some hypothesis which can explain this behavior. Yes, correct. This might have arisen many years ago when wild dogs started more interacting more with humans. Yes, correct. Yes, it is a valid hypothesis. Also, maybe, I can hypothesize that in the ancestral species, they had some kind of signals in this way when they saw predators. They used to have certain signals, and this was a part of that signal. They started depending more on humans. Yes, Ikoi Kaki, you are correct. It might have happened. So, yeah. So, okay, I can hypothesize it in a way that, they had some alarm calls or signals on sight of predator, or maybe they had some kind of, these certain actions for territory defense, and there were some selection pressures which drove it to become this way. Like, this is what my hypothesis was. Okay, so that was interesting. Then next, can you give? Yeah, thank you, Ikoikaki. Okay, so next, can you give some examples of causation? Come on, now this we have done in many details last time, so I expect many answers. The examples of causation which we dealt with last time. Change in temperature causing migration of species. Yes, correct. Any more? Come on. Fixed action pattern. Yes, correct. Singing of birds. Okay, singing of birds. Yeah, but then, okay. For singing of birds, Sampurna and Malitu Sugi, what is the causation? Because of what stimulus are those birds singing? The Bell experiment you mentioned an example of this. Okay, think about it. In that experiment, what do you think is the stimulus? Simply, just think of what is the stimulus because of which the person is acting. Yes, ringing of bell, correct. So that over there, ringing of bell acts as the stimulus, correct. The other bird is the stimulus or the gene. The other bird is the stimulus for courtship. Madhito Sugi. Yes, for courtship. Okay. Yes. So you guys are pretty much correct. Then the next, let us go to the next question. Some examples of ontogeny. Ontogeny is like learning patterns. Okay, what types of learnings do you guys remember? Mimicry, associative, social, yes, you are correct. Mimicry is not a learning, but okay, like you can say they evolved in a way that they mimic. But yeah, okay, fine. Time of fertilization of the egg to adult. Okay, yes, it may be. Observational, conditional, yes. Spatial learning, yes. Sampurna, yes. You guys are correct. So, cognitive learning, yes. You're also right. So, yes, I'm so happy that you guys remember everything. Now, let us go further. Like, okay. So, we dealt with two questions last time, right? The proximate causes, like the stimulus and the learning. Now, let us go ahead. Just a second. I will change my sharing. The training in the places where you live. At my place, it is raining a lot, which is causing all these network issues.
Yeah, it's raining where I live as well.
It causes a lot of problems, right? No, I'm not in Kerala, Malipasugi. I'm in Maharashtra. Okay. So yeah, finally I've reached the presentation. Yeah. Okay. So yes, is my screen visible? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let us go. So now let us go in our quest in part two. Okay. So a quick recap for you guys. We already did a lot of recap, and you guys remember. Yeah. So again, a quick recap. The four questions of Tinbergen, out of which two we observed last time, right? Causation and ontogeny were the ones which we observed last time. Some examples of causation, some examples of ontogeny. Okay. Now let us go ahead. Now before we go forward, I want you guys to have some basics of genetics. So yeah, what is genetics? Genetics is the study of heredity and variation. So first of all, let me tell you where all this started. Gregor Mendel was a scientist and he carried out many experiments on the pea plant, the pea plant Pisum sativa. And he concluded that some factors are passed on from parents to offspring. And those factors came to be known as genes later on. So now since genetics was covered by Arin as well as Samiksha in their module, so let us have a revision of what is this. So yeah, what are genes? Hereditary unit. Yes, correct. What more? Coding parts of the D. Yeah, okay. So the coding segments of DNA, as you guys said, the hereditary units which are carried on from generation to generation. Okay. So now since you know what are genes, what are alleles? Variations of genes. Yes, correct. So yeah, the alternate forms of genes are called alleles. Different types of genes. Okay, yes. So the alternate forms of genes, different forms or variations of a gene. Yes, you guys are correct. So alternate forms of a gene are called alleles. And last, what are chromosomes? Come on, chromosomes was also told, right? What are chromosomes? Condensed form of DNA. Okay. Yes. So yes. So all of you guys are correct. Yeah. So genes are the functional segment of DNA and they code for a specific protein. Alleles are the alternate forms of the same gene and chromosome is generally the condensed form of DNA. Okay. So yes. Now let us know what Mendel did. So what Mendel did was he observed that in pea plant, the pea plant either has purple color flowers or white colored flowers. Okay, this is a trait in the pea plant that it can have either purple colored or white colored flowers. So he crossed a purebred purple color flower, like a purebred in the sense like who's you know Okay, so I'll tell you later on what is purebred. So uh, he crossed a purebred purple flowered plant with a white flower plant. Okay. Now, what you expect is generally that in the first of in the first generation of offspring, you expect the color to be somewhat blended. That is what normally we would think. But what he got was all of the flowers were purple colored. So now he self-pollinated those first generation flowers. After that, again, he got both the colored flowers now. He got purple as well as white, but the ratio was 3:1. So what he concluded was these factors which are present in pairs, one of them is a dominant allele, which is able to express itself if one copy is present. If one copy of the gene is present, it is able to express itself. And the other one, which skipped a generation, it is called the recessive allele. As in, it is recessive. It cannot express itself. If like it can express itself only if two copies of the gene are present. Okay. So this is what he concluded. Then later on, what he did was he carried out an experiment considering two traits. Here I considered only one. Like here he considered only one trait. That is the color of flowers. And in this condition, he considered two traits: the shape of the seed and the color of the seed. So he mated a round yellow seeded plant with a green wrinkled seeded plant. And as he had theoretically assumed all these things, he got the same practical result. So that is why he put up these laws. Like one of them, like the in these alleles, one of the allele is dominant, one of the allele is recessive. And the recessive one tends to skip generations since the dominant masks the effect of the recessive allele and all these things. And when you consider two or more traits, they are assorted independently. They do not depend on each other during assortment. So these are somewhat the laws which Mendel gave. So these are the basics of genetics. There happened to be many more advances later on, but as of now, we will deal with these much. Now, I hope you guys will understand that, siblings have 50% of their genes in common and all these things. First cousins will have 25% of the genes in common. So, yeah, these are the basics. Some We will deal with some more advancement in the next session. Okay. So, yes. So, this was about genetics. Now, let us go to evolution. As I said last time, I said that natural selection influences all these things. So, what is exactly natural selection and all the concepts of evolution, we'll see. So, first thing, evolution began with, like, the study of evolution began with Lamarck's theory. Now, what did Lamarck say was, you can see this giraffe. So, basically, he hypothesized that ancestors of giraffe were horse-like animals, and since they had to feed on leaves of the trees, so their neck grew because they had to feed on the leaves which were high at a height. So because of that stretching of their neck got elongated. So that was his hypothesis. He explained some two three more examples with his hypothesis. But then what happened was there was one scientist. Now suppose do you guys must be knowing what is a bonsai, right? A bonsai is a small plant of, suppose if I say a mango bonsai, it's a small mango plant or like which resembles a tree. But if I take the seeds of that mango plant and plant it, will it again be shorter? If I do this for several generations and if I plant it again, will it be smaller? No, right? It will grow and become a big tree, even if I do this for many generations. So this violates Lamarck's theory. So that was an exception. So then we went further. Then came Darwin's theory. Darwin said, let the nature select, guys. The nature will select. like the fittest of all in the population will survive, and those will be selected by the nature, of course. So now, as you can see, this is one ancestral bird. This is the ancestral bird. Now, the birds who had to feed on nectar, they got their beaks formed in such a way that it becomes easier for them to have nectar. Those who feed on insects, their beak got modified in a way that it is easier for them to eat insects. Similar for the ones eating seeds, their beaks got modified in a way so that they can easily eat seeds. So basically, this is how natural selection works. Like in a population, the fittest of all will survive. That is what is natural selection. Okay. So then again, only natural selection was not enough to explain all the things happening. Hence, there were many other things added to the theory of evolution and a modern theory was formulated. How? Let us understand it through this example. Suppose there is a tree which has red colored bugs. Okay. Now, accidentally, there happens because of a mutation, suppose there happens to be a green colored bug born in that population, or suppose some of the population happens to be green colored because of a mutation. Now what will happen is the green colors will of course be selected because like the predator will not be able to see those green colored bugs clearly, right? So those will be selected against the red because the red will be easily hunted by the predators. So this is natural selection. This is the way I told that in the population they will be selected. The best, the fittest will survive. Okay. So now consider a second case. Suppose a population of black colored bugs. So a black colored bug is born in the population. Now that population or on the tree has red as well as black bugs. Now black colored bugs do not have any advantage, right? They will be they will be visible just like the red colored. They won't have any advantage. But suppose what happens is the tree catches fire, most of the red bugs get killed, only the black ones remain. This was a sudden change in the population, right? Now you could not predict. They wouldn't have get selected, but you can't predict. That was a sudden change in the population because of the environment, maybe. So this sudden change is called as genetic drift. This genetic drift can actually drastically decrease, drastically increase population in a short span of time. Okay, that is genetic drift. And the next thing is gene flow. Now suppose there is, consider case 3, that a similar species resides on the neighboring tree and they happen to interbreed. A similar species in the sense those are also red colored bugs, but they are smaller in size. Now they happen, what happens is the bugs from the first tree and the second tree interbreed with each other, and all of them have intermediate bugs, intermediate size bugs. So the genes from one population flew to the other, like they flew to the other population, like they mixed, right? The interaction mixed the gene. Hence, this is called as gene flow. Okay. So I hope you guys understood this. Let us see how much you understood. I have a question for you guys. Now, okay. First of all, one open-ended question. I missed out a very important process over here. I did mention it, but I didn't tell more about it. At the end, that process causes evolution. Can you think of it? Okay, it like reproduction. Okay, what else? Okay, let me give you a hint. It is related to genetic level. Like it is at the level of gene. Just think at that level. Mutations. Yes, Gaurija, you're correct. Mutations lies at like at the basic of all these things because as I said, yes, mutation. Urvi, yes. So basically, because of mutations, all these things are happening. Because of mutations, those bugs are getting changed. So the underlying principle of all these is mutation. And now just imagine, okay, in Aryan's module, I hope he told you right about genes coding for protein. So in that you have triplet codon. So you have three amino acid coding for one, three codons coding for one amino acid. So just imagine if one of that codon gets replaced, like if one of the nucleotide gets replaced, what will happen? Okay, now it may happen that it gets replaced and it doesn't affect because we have 20 amino acids, 64 codons. We have chance for mistake. But if it codes for some different amino acid right now, after getting replaced, if it codes for some different amino acid, it can actually change the entire structure of the protein. So, like one mutation, one replacement can cause some deadly disease like sickle cell anemia. So, that can also happen. And okay, now this was about replacement. Like, I am replacing a nucleotide. What if a nucleotide gets deleted or it gets added randomly? So, the protein after it or the amino acids after the mutation are all going to change. Hence, the protein is going to entirely change. Yes, the reading frame shift, Gauri. Yes, you're correct. So, basically, the entire protein changes. So, okay, now, okay, let me tell you how a mutation can affect a certain trait. Suppose if we consider the previous example, like a tree has two colored flowers, violet colored and white colored. Now, suppose the flower is violet colored because of a pigment, and that pigment forms from its precursor, and there is an enzyme which catalyzes this reaction. Okay, now that enzyme is a protein, so it is coded by the gene. So, if at the time of having flowers, if the pigment is yellow, the chain of enzyme, the precursor won't be able to change into pigment. You won't get the pigment, hence the flowers will be white. This is how a certain mutation, a certain gene will be regulating a trait, or this is how alleles work, or something. So yes, you guys are correct. So mutations can be very dangerous, but somehow they are the underlying process of evolution. Okay, so yeah, so face this case now. This is a case study question. Think about it. Greater prairie chicken were initially present in large numbers, and since the prairies got converted to farmland, their numbers decreased a lot. Now, can you analyze whether it is natural selection, genetic drift, or gene flow? Genetic drift, Sampurna. Yes. What about others? Okay, I won't reveal the answer initially. I want all of you to answer. Okay, many of you to answer. Yes. Natural selection. Okay. Koikaki, can you explain it? Why is it natural selection? Also, Sampurna, can you explain why is it genetic drift? Okay, you're not sure. Okay, what did you think? Why do you think it's natural selection? That's it. Or is it just a guess? But is it because they were unable to survive any longer? See, it is in the changed environment. See, it is not because it happened very drastically. Like in some 10 years, like suppose if in the last decade I considered their population was some thousands, okay. If suppose their population was some thousands, now in the next decade itself, their population is like you can say 10, 20 left. So now you think about it. It changes drastically. It was very sudden. I agree they were unable to survive, but then, you know, if it is natural selection, it takes longer time. And natural selection will select a beneficial thing, right? Yes, the number of individuals in the population decreased due to a random event. Yeah, so okay, Equikaki, you got it. Yes, Sampurna, you are correct. It is genetic drift because, yes, the number of individuals in the population decreased due to a random event. Okay, ready with the basics of genetics and evolution? Let us go further to our third question. Coming back to our third question, how does a certain behavior? Okay, wait. But isn't the population decline a direct result of environmental changes, habitat destruction? Okay, wait. The habitat destruction was caused because of human activities. So that is why I mentioned it was because of human activities. You are correct. Like it is a condition, but then of that, because of environment change or because of habitat destruction, it will be somewhat lesser. Okay, okay. This is like if you guys want to look up on it, it is a very interesting example. It is called as bottleneck effect. Like a species, uh, like a bottle with marble, and you try to pour it out, some number of marbles will be able to get out. That is what explains the bottleneck effect. Like the species generate like decreases very initially. You can look up to it. This is a very famous example of bottleneck effect. And it is a type of genetic drift. Yes. Okay. So yes, let us go further to function. Now, as I said, natural selection. Okay, natural selection. Nature doesn't have an option over there so that it can choose the most efficient one. It is just a compromise done with the population, like in the existing population. Okay. So it generally favors a certain behavior which enhances individual or reproductive success. Okay. So now suppose in a herd of deer, some of the deer can run faster. So that behavior will be selected because it enhances the individual success. It enhances the survival of those deer during a hunt or whatever. So that is called as individual success. So selection pressures drive the behavior to change in a way that maximizes the benefit and minimizes the cost. Now, as I said, natural selection is a compromise. It is not a choice. So it will try to maximize the benefit and minimize the cost. So the same way as we in like in our general, you know, normal affairs, we try to maximize our benefit and minimize our cost. It is the same way. Nature thinks the same way. Okay. So now I told you about individual success. About reproductive success, when I talk, then it comes to mating system and sexual dimorphism. Okay, so now what are mating systems? Basically, uh, it is like a system in which a species mates. or like the behavior you observe during mating is a generally mating system. So you can see some species, so in some species it is like one male mates with one female throughout their entire lifespan. So that is a condition in some species. In birds you might have observed. So that is called as monogamy. Those species are monogamous species. But in some cases it may not happen that way. It may happen that, one male or a single male mates with many females, or a single female mates with many males. It may happen that way. So that is called as polygamy, wherein the condition of one male mating with many females is called polygyny, and one female mating with many males is called polyandry. Okay. So these are the mating systems which exist in nature. And because of these mating systems, there are also some morphological changes in those species. Like since you can see this species, this bird, since one male mates with one female throughout their entire life, since those are monogamous species, they are actually, the male and female are difficult to distinguish based on their morphology, based on their physical appearance. But here you can see these are the polygamous species. You can see the male and female are easily distinguishable. You can actually distinguish. So in case of polygyny, where one male mates with many females, the male is more ornamented. And in case of polyandry, where one female mates with many males, the female is more ornamented. Now here, like the two sexes of the same species, they look so different. You can see this this image or this image, they both look so different. So this is called as sexual dimorphism, wherein the male and female of the same species differ in physical appearance. Okay, so now how do these mating systems arise? All of this, like the reason behind that lies in parental care, the parental care required by the offspring. Okay, so before I go to the parental care, can you guys think of some examples of sexual dimorphism? I think you guys must have studied. As I said, the male and female should be different in appearance. So can you guys think of some examples? Mammals. Okay, all mammals. Are you sure? Peacock, bird. Really? Do birds differ? Drosophila. Okay. Butterflies. Yeah, butterflies maybe. Maybe. Okay. What more? Chicken. Yes, that is also correct. Cock and the hen look very different. Only male deer have antlers. Yes. Robins. Okay. Robins can be. Yes. Robins look different. Lion. Yes. Females are dull in color. Okay. That is correct. Yeah. So yes, that's pretty much. You guys know many examples of sexual dimorphism. Even yeah, we have observed many a times, right? So yes, you all are correct. Yeah. So now let us see why these mating systems arise. As I said, all of this lies in parental care. So basically, the needs of the young one is a very important factor over here. Because see, suppose if there is a condition that the one of the parent cannot take care of the young one of the offspring all by himself or all by itself. So for the other parent, it is beneficial to stay back and take care of the offspring, isn't it? Hence, such species are monogamous because it is beneficial for the parent to take care of his own offspring. So that is why we observe that many species of birds are monogamous mostly, right? As you can see over here. But suppose now the other condition that the one of the parent is able to take care of the child all by itself. Now the other parent actually like gets benefit by mating with other or like mating with other or less things, right? It derives less benefit by staying by mating with other females. Suppose the male can derive more benefit, isn't it? Hence, such species are polygamous. Okay. So this is how, because of parental care, mating systems are influenced. Like the need of the young one will influence the mating system of the entire species. As you can see, birds cannot take care of the young one all by themselves. Hence, those are monogamous because both the parents are needed. But in case of lions, the lioness can take. Okay, in case of polygamous species, one parent can take care of the offspring all by itself. Hence, the other parent can mate with other other organisms, like other, what do we say, other mate. Okay, so hence such species are polygamous. I hope you guys got an idea of how parental care can actually influence the mating system. So okay, yeah. Now since there is, okay, thank you, Gavisha. Since there is sexual dimorphism, so there will be mating choice. Some of them will have the choice because both of them don't resemble, right? Okay. Since the male and female are very there's some problem with the slide. Okay. Wait, my okay. So now, yes, as I said, since the male and female are so much different in appearance, there exists a mating choice. Sexual dimorphism results from sexual selection. As in, like, see, what happens is the members from one sex choose their mates from the other sex based on their characteristics. And since those characteristics are different, that is like this preference or this mate choice, it causes the evolution of other sex, of evolution of behavior or evolution of anatomy of the other sex. Like, okay, there is this insect in which the insect has a stalk, okay, and the female select the male. The preference is given to the stalk. So the female, what does the female assume was, in case of such insects or case of birds with like colored or more longer stalks or all these things, the um, better it leads to the competition of one sex for the okay, suppose, okay, so in case of polygyny, in case of polygyny where one male mates with many females, the female has the choice. The male attract the females, since the males are more showier, right? So the males attract the females. There is a competition between the males for a female. And in case of polyandry, the case is different because the female attracts the male, and hence there is competition between females for a mate. Okay, so that is what happens. Now, how is this behavior influenced? How is this mating choice influenced? So this mating choice, it can either be influenced by the genes or it can be influenced by the surroundings. How? Let us see. Okay. So basically, in some experiment, it is observed that the female, suppose the choice lies with the female. So this in such species, the female tends to give preference to a mate who resembles her or who is similar to her father. Okay, so what experiment they carried out was the okay. So this is a finch. Okay, this is a bird. They actually do not feather on its head. What they did was they artificially added this feather. First, in the control group, both the parents did not have the feather. Then here, the females had the feather, like the mother had this feather. Here, the father had this feather, and here both the mother and father had the feather. And what they observed the mate preference of the female offspring. Okay, the female offsprings of these pairs, they observed the mate preference. And here, where the father was ornamented, the mate preference obviously to ornamented male. Okay, like the one similar to the father. Here, it was like 50-50. May or may not be. But over here, it was for sure the mate preference was given to ornamented males. So basically, this is how genes can influence because it is a genetic instinct that the mate should be similar to the father. That is a so this is a now what happened is now how can surroundings influence mate choice? Let us see. This guppy fish, if you can see, this is the female guppy. It gives preference to more orange colored male fishes. Okay, so the more orange colored will be given the preference. But here, what scientists did was scientists introduced a fish in that pond who was trying to mate with a less orange colored male. So this female, like the female, changed their preference to less orange colored male. So that is how, because of that is called as mate choice copying. That you copy the mate choice of the other. But yeah, this also exists. And this may be because, in the all these things are basically happening for better genes. So that is how you can consider the evolution of this thing of mate choice copying. Okay. So this is how mate choice can be influenced by either genetics or surroundings. And also there are many competitions, right, between the male for a female or between the female for a male. So that also exists. So that the most strongest one gets the female. Yeah. So this is how mating choice exists. Now, how will you tackle a situation wherein, you know, a single species has many mating behaviors? How will you address that? So let us see it through this fun example. It is a very fun example. So I believe all of you must have played stone, paper, scissors in your childhood, right? It is a very, very famous game. What if we apply this stone, paper, scissors ka theory on this lizard? How? I will tell you. So, first of all, this is a species, this is called a side-blotched lizard. And this, you can see, the males have three different morphologies. And why are these different? Because of their behaviors. So, the red colored lizard, as you can see, this is a red colored lizard. It is the most aggressive one. It has a larger territory and many number of mates. Okay. Then this is the blue colored lizard, which is less aggressive, smaller territory, lesser number of mates. Okay. And this is the yellow lizard. This yellow lizard is kind of girly and like sneaky at times. It sneaks and mates by chance. So these are the three different types of mating which exist in one species. And these three different morphologies are for male. So now, as in stone, paper, scissors, if you have stone and paper, so paper wins because paper covers the stone. If you have paper and scissors, scissors wins because scissors can cut the paper. And if you have stone and scissors, stone wins because stone can break scissors. So a similar logic can be applied to these lizards because the reproduction of these lizards is actually dependent on their populations, on the populations of these three lizards. And how do these populations fluctuate? Let us see. So if I consider a competition between red lizard and blue lizard, okay, a competition. So of course the red lizard will win because it is more aggressive. Okay. If I consider a competition between red lizard and yellow lizard, what do you think? What will happen? What do you think? The first condition I told you, red lizard and red lizard and blue lizard. Of course, the red will win because it is more aggressive. What will happen if there is a competition between red lizard and yellow lizard? Think about it. Give it a thought. You can put your answers in the chat. I also gave you a hint. It is similar to stone, paper, scissors. Yellow might win. Okay. Can you tell why? Yellow might win since it is sneaky and may save itself. Yes, Sampurna, you are correct. Because red has never fought yellow before. Okay, so basically like similar to stone, paper, scissors, right? Okay. Too busy with green. Who's green? Okay, too busy with blue, I guess you want to say. No, no. Like I am asking like in the population of suppose the population of blue is very less. Now the red and yellow are at a maximum population. What do you think? Who will go ahead? Whose population will increase further? That is what I want to ask. But yes, you guys are correct. Yellow may win because it is sneaky and it may save itself. It has a high chances to mate because it is sneaky. The red can't. Red has a big territory, so it can't pay attention everywhere. It is easier for the yellow to sneak. Now, for apply a similar logic for blue and yellow, and tell me which one will win. Blue is already less. Okay, so now consider a third condition where the red are very less, and now blue and yellow are somewhat equalized. Okay, consider first consider these as three different cases. Like in case one, you put in a population where you have equal populations of red and blue. That is where I said red wins. Then you consider case two where you put equal populations of red and yellow. That is where you said yellow will win. And that is correct, yellow will win. Now consider a third case where you put in equal populations of blue and yellow. What do you think? Which one will win? Did you get that, Ikoikaki? I think blue will win. Okay, why? You're correct. Blue will win, but why? Blue also has a territory. Yellow has a chance to sneak in and mate. Then how will blue win? They are at equal numbers now. Okay, so but then yes, right. So blue has a territory. They will try to expand. Like, okay, I didn't get you, Ikoikaki. Okay, their territory. They'll try to expand their territory. Okay, so then suppose if I say blue expands their territory and now blue has its territory. So then yellow will be like yellow can easily sneak in, right? Just as it sneaked into red's territory. Blue might win since it has a smaller territory, so it is easy for blue to catch yellow. Yes, that is correct. That is actually correct, Sampurna. That blue will win because since blue has a smaller territory. That's why I mentioned before that red has a larger territory, blue has a smaller territory. So they will try to like you're correct. They will try to expand their territory, but like blue is not that aggressive, so it has a smaller territory. So when yellow will sneak in, blue will blue can actually prohibit yellow from sneaking, or it will understand. Unlike red. Okay. So now when I consider its population, initially suppose I say that all of them are at equal numbers, not exactly equal numbers, but okay, their populations are equal. Suppose. Then after some time, red population will increase since it's the most aggressive one. Start increasing because it has more chances to sneak in red territories. So after that, yellow will increase. And then later on, blue will increase because then blue won't let yellow sneak in its territory. Then again after blue, red will increase and these will go on fluctuating. So basically when this kind of example occurs, scientists try to solve it by game theory. And why are we talking about populations here? So basically their relative populations influence their sexual behaviors or influence their, what do we call, influence their species basically, their reproductive behaviors and all these things. Hence, when these populations change in this way, their behaviors are supposed to change in that way. Okay, so this was an example wherein we can actually apply game theory somewhere in biology. Okay, so yes, again, here is a question for you guys. Think about it now. Female spotted sandpipers aggressively court males and after mating leave a clutch of the young for the male to incubate. This sequence can be repeated several times with different males until no available males remain, forcing the female to incubate the last clutch. What is the mating system for this species? Polyandry, yes. Ikoikaki, you're correct. Polyandrous, yes. Yes. You guys are correct. It is polyandry. So you guys actually have good sense of analysis of questions, and that is very happy. Yes, polyandry. Okay, and like, can you explain why is it polyandry? Why not polygyny? Why not monogyny? Monogamy, sorry. Because the female is more ornamented here. Okay, mating with multiple males. Yes. Female is mating with different males. Yes. One female mate with many males. Yes. Correct. Yes. You all are correct. Yeah. So this is polyandry because you can actually see one male is mating with one female is mating with many males. So yes, you all are correct. Female is one Female leaves once mating is no longer beneficial. Yes, because like the male have the capacity to incubate the clutch of young ones. So, yes, yes, you're correct. Yes, correct, Kaki, you're correct. I'm so happy that you guys understood all of these. So yes, this is it for today. Now, okay, now I'm giving you a condition. Think over it once. There, you guys know about worker bees, right? Worker bees sacrifice themselves for the hive. Like suppose if there is an attack on the hive, the worker bees will first go and attack on that whatever is attacking, and they will actually sacrifice themselves for the hive. So this behavior of the worker bee, it is neither its individual success because it is actually dying. There is no survival, and it is neither reproductive success. So then, why is this favored? Why and how is this behavior favored? Think about it. If you don't get it, don't worry. We will discuss it in the next class, next session. Okay. So yes, that is it today from my side. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. If you have any doubts, you can stay back and ask in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask. And yes, if any doubts about the assignment, that also you can ask. I hope you guys saw the assignment. The deadline is today EOD, Cinderella time. Yes. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Is it an instinct of the beast to sacrifice itself? That's what. Think about it. Okay, if ever it's an instinct, yes, it is an instinct of the beast, or maybe it may have some influence of pheromones as well, because the queen bee does secrete some pheromones. But then, like, why is this behavior favored? That's what I'm asking. Thank you, all others. It ensures the survival of rest of the hive. But then it does not ensure the survival of the worker bee. What I said was it should natural selection favors behavior in a way that it favors individual success or reproductive success. And both of these of the worker bee are sacrificed. So then why is this behavior favored by natural selection? To favor the queen. How will favoring the queen help the worker bee? The survivors can reproduce, right? But then this worker bee can't. How is it benefiting the worker bee? You guys are somewhat correct. You're going on the correct lines. Yes, it is to favor the queen. But then why? Or maybe the worker bees have no other job. Okay, wait. Actually, worker bees have many other jobs, you know? Doesn't help. It doesn't help the worker bees, but it is to ensure. Then if it doesn't help the worker bees, then why does natural selection favor them? Favor it. Natural selection should think from the perspective of worker bee as well, right? No, actually, you know what, Ikoikaki worker bee has many jobs. They have to, they have like their work is distributed. In some time they have to take care of the queen bee. In some time they have to, clean the what do we call? Clean the cells of the dead bees. Only okay. Yes, worker bees are sterile. So that also doesn't. So how is all this favored now? No reproduction, no this thing. It isn't favoring the species in general. So to perform all functions, okay, wait. I'm talking about the ones dying. They need some worker, so they need some bees, so they have the workers. Yeah, that is fine. Like they are working for the hive, that is all fine. But then when it comes to sacrificing themselves, so then why is that sacrificing thing favored? You're talking about the dying ones, but then like there won't be such a discrimination, right? When the hive is attacked, all the worker bees will go and attack it. Like the worker, there won't be that designation of those worker bees, I think. Okay, wait. I'll tell you something. There is a thing called genetic success. You can look up to if you're interested. Otherwise, that is the thing we are going to be dealing in the next session. There are many such behaviors observed in nature. Suppose if okay, there's a herd of deer and one of okay, it is called genetic success. What is it? That I'll tell you in the next session. Now, okay, I'll give you another example. There's a herd of deer grazing. Okay, one of the deer sees a lion in the grass and it gives an alarm call. All the other deers run away, but this is what do we say? The lion attacks the one which gives the alarm call. So then, why was this behavior of giving alarm call favored? This is more simple, I guess, to analyze. So that is what the answer lies in something called genetic success. We'll discuss it in next session. Okay, clear? Okay, okay, that's very interesting. You can look up to it. Can you explain? Okay, thank you. Okay, can you explain question 3 of assignment? Question 3, as in like, why are all the dangerous colored things flashy, right? That is that the question 3? I am sorry, I don't remember. I guess that's the question 3. Okay, okay, so yeah, this is. So basically, now you understood what associative learning is, right? You associate your own behavior with the color or something like that. Okay, you associate those things. Now, since uh, the monarch butterfly, as I said, it is poisonous, so it will the blue jay or that bird will avoid something of that color, right? So then you can see all these poisonous species, uh, maybe the bugs, the snakes, the poisonous things, they have a similar color. They have very distasteful things, right? So why is it that way? Did you get that? Did you get it somewhat? Did you get an idea of it? Yes. See, should we write here about mimicry? Yes, you can write about mimicry because that is what, like, that is somewhat what it is. Okay, what answer did you get for this? First of all, tell me that. Okay, first, you got the question right. So, what answer did you get for this? First of all, tell me that. Okay. Good day to again. Thank you. Good day to you as well. Okay, you're thinking now only. Okay, so give it some more thought. Come on. Okay, you're thinking now only about mimicry. Yes. You're thinking on the correct line. That's what I can say. Yeah. You are thinking on the correct line. You can write about it. Okay. I hope you found today's session also interesting. You will have an assignment for today as well. Assignment and review questions coming up.